So these are some of the books I want to read in January, and I want to talk a little bit about them, about what they are about, and why I want to read them in January. As you can see, I don't have many. I also have my Kindle, but there are a few books that I plan on reading in January because I really don't want to force myself to read a lot, like I read when I want to read. If I don't feel like reading, I just don't read. I don't like to force myself to read like certain books from my TBR or anything. If I want to read a book that sounds interesting and I want to read it at the moment, I'm going to do it. As easy as that is. So these are the books I want to read in January. For starters, I have this book from Jane Austen that I have a lot of trouble pronouncing. It's Northerhanger Abbey. I don't know. But it's this book. I already started it and I'm on page 47. A year ago I started to get into classics. I started to read Jane Austen and I started with Emma, which was not the greatest experience. I did not love the book. So I thought maybe Jane Austen is not for me, but I started to read this one. It's a very charming character and it's about this girl that is like very weird. Yes, weird for the time. She's like very different. She's not into marriage. She's more into gothic romance and more like gothic books and crime books and stuff like that. And this book is about her. The name of the character is Catherine Morland, and it's about this girl that just doesn't really fit into society and ends up believing that a crime was committed, and that sort of like consumes her. So it's very interesting. I really want to read this. And also, I think it's short. And it's not difficult to read. As Emma. There were a lot of characters and it was very confusing. I did not like that. But this one I'm liking it. And I plan on finishing it. Hopefully in this January. Next I have Wuthering Heights. I'm very excited to read this. I bought it a few months ago. And I bought it and I didn't know a movie was coming out. And well, I know now that the movie is coming out. I'm excited to read the book first because it's always a different experience when you know there's a movie about a book and you have read the book first. It's like a whole new thing because when you read the book first, it's like you imagine the characters a certain way, you imagine the situations and the whole like storyline a different way or like a significant way, and then when you see it in the movie it's like so different how the director impacts on the story and how the characters and the actors play differently as the way the characters do in the book, and it's very interesting. And I'm planning on reading this before watching the movie. I don't know when the movie is coming out. I don't even know if I think already came out. Yeah, I don't know, but I want to read the book before I actually watch the movie. I don't know about you, but I didn't know much about Wuthering Heights. I just knew that it was a classic and that it was from one of the Bronte sisters. I read a book from Charlotte Bronte and it was Jane Eyre. It was very fun. It was very fun to read. And I mean, I've never read from Emily Bronte before. I've read great comments, great reviews about this book. I'm very excited to be reading this. I cannot believe I bought it like a few months ago and I didn't have the time to read it. Like I actually, when it comes to classics, I feel like they deserve their time. Like I really want to sit down and actually pay attention to what they're saying because a few classics, at least in my opinion, can be a little bit confusing. And it can be very frustrating to be lost in the middle of the story and you don't know what's going on, you don't know who's who and stuff like that. So I really want to pay attention to the book itself, and also because I want to make my mind about this book and I want to be able to give a good review about it, not just like, oh, I loved it because of the movie or because blah blah blah. No, like I want to actually read it, process it, and actually pay attention to the characters and how the writer actually tried to impact us with this story, and how it impacted me as a reader. So I really want to do that. I'm excited to read about Catherine and Heathcliff or something like that. A certain Heathcliff. I'm so sorry. Heathcliff. I know it's some type of romance story. I've seen videos and I've read comments of this book that it's very like a romantic kind of love, but it's more like, more than romantic, it's like consuming. It's this consuming kind of relationship between these two characters, and I'm excited to see how that plays in the book and how we actually get to that point. So yeah, Emily Bronte, first time reading her. The third book I want to read, it's Little Women. This is not an unknown book for me. I've read it before, and in this case I want to reread it because I love this book. I really, really wanted to read this book last fall, like last year, literally, but I didn't have the time and I couldn't really set my mind to read it. I was in a reader's block or something, so I couldn't. I think Little Women is the perfect book to read in fall. It really brings out that fall autumn vibe, like cozy, a candle, a coffee kind of vibe. But time went by and I couldn't read it in like fall. But now I really want to read it. I'm on page, I literally just started, I'm on page 5. But the good thing is I already know this book. I already know what it's about. I'm just reading it for the fancies. I'm reading it for the comfort. This book really brings me comfort, and it has to be one of my favorite books. I could do a whole essay on Little Women. And every time I see this cover and I think about Little Women, one thing comes to my mind. And that's the edit, like the edit. Because I figured you love me, Joe. I know the whole thing. And although reading this book is not my priority on January, because I really want to read these books that I have not read yet, I will try my best to actually read it, because I really want to get this off my list. Like, it's been in my TBR since October. Moving on to my Kindle, I just have one book that I want to read on my Kindle, and that's My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante. And I actually just started it. I'm on chapter 6, I think, and I mean, so far so good. It's very, so what I've read so far, it's about two women and their relationship, how they grew up, and because I'm just starting it, it's like talking about their childhood and how they spend their childhood. And I think, I don't know, I like this kind of books that really show perspectives of life that we don't truly get to see. You know, it's about this friendship, and it's about the different sides of a family, you know. One girl, it's treated right and the other isn't. There's a huge difference in like the personalities that the girls have, and I am excited to keep reading this book to see how this story actually connects and how they get to hang out more and how they get to the point that I first read, that is like basically when they're older. So I want to see how it goes, you know. I want to see the storyline. I'm excited because this book just feels very real, feels raw, and I love books like that. Like, I love books like that. I think I've read multiple books that feel that way, that feel like raw. Like, I think, for example, Lie With Me, Almond, A Little Life, Looking for Alaska, Beautiful Boy, The Perks of Being a Wallflower, all of those books that feel very real, feel very raw. It's like books that actually tell stories, or like moving stories, at least that's how I feel. And I don't know, I feel like this book is it's going to be one of those, and I'm truly excited to be back to reading those books after like the longest reader's block. I could only read like romance or like stories that didn't involve me going through a lot of thinking, you know what I mean? It was just reading and next, but yeah, I'm excited to be reading these books. I really, really hope that January comes a good month of reading for me. And yeah, I hope that you really like this video. I really love talking about books. I really enjoy listening to people talk about books. And well, yeah, I'm excited, and I'll tell you how it goes. I might have like a good review of these books, maybe, probably, I don't know. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.